What is going on, guys? Welcome to another video on my channel. Today we are going to be looking at some of the best free agents on Football Manager 2016 and who you can look to use and buy. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start at the top of the list with the age that is the highest, and that is Richard Dunne. Now for a Premier League side he would be a useful signing, and the 35-year-old has bags of experience in him. He's been around, he's been at Aston Villa, he's been at QPR in the Prem obviously, and he's been at Man City in the Premier League. So looking at his stats, he's a fairly good player, he's useful, he's 2.5 stars, he can only play in one position, and obviously he is a slow player. So for the lower leagues, I wouldn't recommend Premier League, Championship, League One. He will be a fantastic player for you and will give you a load of experience for a season or two. The next player we're going to look at is also 35 like Richard Dunne, and that's Paul Robinson, who also has bags of experience in him. The goalkeeper has been in and around the Premier League for a long time, and he is also 2.5 stars. I would not recommend him for a Premier League side. I would recommend him for a League One or a Championship side again. He's got some great stats on him for a goalkeeper, and really I would say you can get a season or two out of him as well. So he will be great to go in and around a Championship League One side. The next player we're going to look at is Nikola Zigic. Obviously he played for Birmingham and he was released by Birmingham, so he has got Championship experience. He is a good player for the Championship / League One. At 34 years old, you're not going to get much more out of him, so you know he'll be great for a season or two. The fourth player is Kevin Nolan, released by West Ham in the summer. He is a fantastic player with bags of experience in him. Useful for Premier League sides, however I would recommend him again for Championship sides. He will be great asset to your team. A great player. He's versatile down the middle there in midfield, but he's fantastic behind the striker as a shadow striker with some great stats there. He will be fantastic for your team. We're now going to look at Stephen Kelly. The 31-year-old was released by Reading. Yep, Reading in the summer. And he has got some good stats on him, the Irishman. He can play right down the right hand side, however I would keep him as a fullback. He can also slightly play left back, but right back is his main position. He can somewhat play in the Premier League if you got him, but again I would recommend him as a Championship signing. He's got good experience and he will help your team. The next player is a fantastic one, and I would just say, whatever you do, sign this man. Emmanuel Adebayor. He has obviously got all the experience a striker needs. He's played for Arsenal, Man City, Real Madrid and recently Tottenham before being released. I must note that if you do bring in Adebayor, you cannot use him until January, as he will have already played for 3 clubs. So you must understand that if you bring in Adebayor, you can't use him until January. But I would snap him up straight away because I have used him and he's fantastic. He knows where the goal is. He's got some great stats. And, you know, he's a strong player. He's obviously great with the language. But he can only play in one position and he is fairly selfish. So that's something to look at, but I would recommend him a lot. The next player is Ron Vlaar, released by Aston Villa. He is a quality player at 4 stars. He's got some great stats on him. He's 30 years old, the Dutchman. He will be a fantastic centre-back for your Premier League side, or whatever club you are. He could be an Italian one. He will be a fantastic player for you, and I would highly recommend snapping him up, although he is injured for 4 to 5 months, so he obviously won't pass a medical. So you're going to want to look to keep an eye on him and keep an eye on who's looking at him, and make sure you give him a good offer. Get him in your team. He will be a fantastic, experienced player for you. The next player is Georgios Samaras. He's been around for a while. Samaras, the Greek His recent spell was at Al Hilal. It didn't work out. I would say, looking at him, you know, you're only going to want to use him in the Championship. He can play in a few positions. He's very versatile, but he doesn't tend to get stuck into challenges, which puts teammates under pressure. The next player is Morgan Amalfitano. On loan at West Ham last season, he got released by, who was it? Olympique Marseille. He was released by Marseille. He's a fantastic player, and look at all those positions he can play in. Mainly use him as a midfield centre or an attacking midfielder. He's a great player at 30 years old. He's only been capped once by France, but at 3.5 stars, he's a great player for a Premier League side, and I would snap him up if you can. The next one is Marco Motta. The 29-year-old Italian. He's played at Watford recently. He got promoted from the Championship to Watford. He's been around in the Italian league for a long time. He's got good experience with Juventus, Roma, Bologna, Genoa. So I would recommend snapping him up. His only con is he would need to learn the language if you bring him to England. However, if you're going to take him back to Italy, he would be a great player at 6'1". He's great, he's very versatile, he can play down the right or the left, and he's got some great stats on him. I would highly recommend that man. The next player we're going to look at is Herbie Emanuelson. Not sure how many of you will remember this guy. His most recent spell in England was at Fulham back in 2013, and then he went back to Roma in the Italian league, and then at Atalanta. However, it hasn't really worked out for him as of late, but he's a good player at 29-year-old, capped 17 times by Holland. He's got the experience. He'll be a good player for whatever team you are. I would recommend snapping him up. He can play all the way down the left-hand side perfectly. He can also play somewhat in the middle and somewhat down the right-hand side. And moving on to the final 3 players, we look at Leon Best. Released by Blackburn Rovers recently. He's got some good stats on him which account for, he's a target man, which account for, his stats account for that, and he's got poor intelligence on the football pitch, so that's something you'll need to look at. But for a Championship club, he would be a great player. He knows where the goal is, and he's a great target man. The next player is Adel Chihi. 27-year-old Moroccan, capped twice. He's versatile again. He's got some alright stats on him for a winger. His pace and stamina and acceleration. Stamina lets him down somewhat. But you know, his technique 16, his dribbling 16. I would recommend League 1. Championship, get him in. I'm not sure how much of a wage he'd ask for. Let's just take a look. 4,800, I would recommend Championship. Or Italian Serie B or Spanish Liga Adelante, leagues such as those. The final player we're going to look at, if I can get his name right, is Ezequiel Schelotto, the 26-year-old Italian. He can play right down the right, he's alright down the left, and he's got some great stats on him, a quality signing for most clubs. So if we just look at the stats for a wing back, he's got great stamina, great pace, good acceleration. His crossing lets him down, his dribbling lets him down. So if you look to overlap, his crossing isn't fantastic, but his work rate and teamwork and off the ball are all fantastic. His determination is unbelievable. And at 26, he might develop a little bit more, he might not, but he would be a fantastic signing for whatever club you choose to go to. I would highly recommend signing him, and he wraps up this video. So if you have enjoyed this video, which I hope you have, I hope I've helped you out a little of free agents on the market who you could potentially bring in. So if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. I post regular Football Manager videos, and I hope to see you in the next one. So if you have enjoyed, subscribe, and I will see you later.